This is the Nightshade Cult, a podcast macabre.
We bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will.
I'm Nick Grimm.
And I'm David Graves.
And we'll be your horror hosts for this dissection of Kurt Neumann's 1958 science fiction body horror, The Fly.
Good evening.
So, I totally misremembered this movie. I know I saw it, probably when I was 7 years old, because it would have been before the Cronenberg remake came out. This was on TV. I remembered it as being in black and white.
Yeah.
And it is not. It is in CinemaScope, widescreen, color, gorgeous looking movie. And I kept waiting for things to happen that don't happen till the final 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, this one, I don't know if I'd ever seen it. I don't think I'd ever seen it, but
it was on TV, and you probably have clicked through it.
Yeah.
But never lingered.
But I did watch the Cronenberg version of this, so I'm glad to have seen the original so I could, see what it's all about.
And that's what's precipitating this, is it's the 40th anniversary of the Cronenberg remake. Before we dissect that, we wanted to watch the original and get a grasp of the source material. Yeah,
this thing was made for somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. The records are sketchy.
Okay.
And it did a domestic box office of $3 million, and then another almost $2 million on rentals. So not bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Very
pretty good for a Playboy story, because that's where this started out.
Hey, publishing short stories and that's how Stephen King started, was publishing short stories in Playboy. That used to be the pathway to authorship.
Yeah, it's sad that we don't have a easy thing like that anymore. Easy, that's relative. Yeah, it's hard to get listed in there, but there's no central
Playboy
place
was a good place to be published.
With millions of eyes. There's nothing like that anymore. But yeah, it was tight. It was 94 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't drag it out for 2 hours or whatever. And I think that this is one of those movies that it's cinematically important, but not overly entertaining.
Yes, I would say that is accurate. I was thinking this was our first Vincent Price joint. But he's an Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, so I was going to say, yeah.
This is our second Vincent Price, but it's our first Vincent Price
movie
starring role.
Yeah.
Except for he's kind of only the star of the framing device of the movie. That's the other thing that surprised me, is that most of this movie is told in a flashback that Vincent Price, the lead star of the movie, is not present for almost any of the flashback section.
Yeah, it's interesting that they went with this, because it seems like having a framing device like this was what Invasion of the Body Snatchers had a framing device.
Yeah, it did.
Lots of these movies have framing devices like this. I guess it was just a trend.
Yeah, just a trope of the time.
Yeah, because it really wasn't needed.
No, I mean, it is a good hook, the mystery of why did this woman kill her husband when everything seems like it was fine.
And then
so that's a good effective hook, and then you go backwards to solve it. But it does leave it feeling slightly disjointed, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's it's definitely disjointed. There are some cool parts in here, so we'll get into that. But I also thought it was interesting that this was the first filmed screenplay by James Clavell, who famously author of Shogun.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I had to, when I saw that in Wikipedia, I was like, Shogun? James Clavell? No, that's not right. And I clicked on the link, and it's like, it is. He's a good author.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What good on him. This probably was paying the bills for quite a while.
Yeah, and I mean, this was this was one of those studio films. Was filmed in 18 days.
Yeah,
this was it was all in one city, Montreal.
Yeah,
and it was
Did they film in Montreal, or is it just set in Montreal?
Well, it was supposed to be in France, but they moved it to Montreal.
Okay.
probably for tax reasons. You know how it is. And yeah, this movie is just, you can tell that this is all on sound stages.
Yeah.
But pretty much it just has that feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in the visuals, the production design and everything. But yeah, this was interesting to revisit. It's so weird because I had really strong memories of having watched this with my mom, because she would always do the little fly voice from the end, the help me, help me. And that had always stuck with us, that moment. And I was starting to think it wasn't going to happen, like that I had imagined that, and that it wasn't even in the movie because it comes so late in the movie. And then I was like, oh, they're not going to show the little fly with the human head. I completely hallucinated this. It's not going to be in the movie. And then they finally delivered. And I was like, okay. I was like, because you see the fly that supposedly has the human head flying around, and it just looks like they hit a fly with a piece of, or like a little bit of white paint. Yeah, it does not look at all like it has a human head on it until the final shot of him in the web with the spider. Yeah,
the close up of it and all of that, for sure. Yeah, that quote is pretty iconic. It's always mentioned, like on the American Film Institute. Mm-hmm. It's considered, one of the most iconic quotes of cinema or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just interesting. It was referenced in a Simpsons episode.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
And I saw a quote from John Carpenter talking about this movie, watching this movie as a kid, and he talks about how when the fly is revealed, like people jumped out of their seats and threw their popcorn in the air, like it was shocking.
Wow.
And it does not like come across that way now. Watching it now, it is a fairly, not terrible, but like a not overly impressive mask.
Yeah.
It does have like creepy little wiggly bits, like a fly does. But it's not terrifying. I can't imagine like throwing my popcorn in the air because I was so shocked at seeing that thing.
Yeah, this movie, I guess it's body horror, but it's not very horrific.
Yeah, not by our current, not post Cronenberg, The Fly, which took it to what was required in 1986 to shock you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of already starting to pick this apart. So why don't we roll the music and get into the dissection? A woman crushes her husband's head in a hydraulic press after he accidentally crosses his genetics with that of a fly.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah, I had a hard time figuring out how to synopsize this because of the framing device, and I do think the mystery of why she did it is a crucial source of tension in the early part of the film.
Yeah.
But once you get into the plot, once you know kind of what's going on, that all kind of disappears. Like that moves to the end of the story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it becomes the thing that we're leading up to. So, yeah, it's like the long way around to get to it and to draw more tension out of this.
Yeah, and I think so. We've talked about the framing device a bit. It's it starts off with essentially like there's a dead body and he's crushed in a press.
Yeah, and the night watchman sees this lady running off and thinks it's the boss's wife.
Yeah, and it was.
Yes, it's no surprise. He knows what she looks like,
and she confesses that she did it.
Yeah, she goes home and immediately calls her brother-in-law, who's Vincent Price, and confesses. And he comes, and gets the police involved. And the police are very understanding of this whole situation.
Yes.
She's just sort of on house arrest observation for a huge portion for the entire movie, essentially.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to figure it out, even though she's confessing.
Yeah, no one believes her that she did this because it's implausible, and he would literally have to have. You couldn't sneakily put the press down on him. He'd have to lay his head and hand in the press and allow her to do it, which is what he did.
Yeah.
So the story is just not adding up, but she does not want to share it.
Yeah, she doesn't want to shame her husband.
Yeah. And they extract a fair bit of... The framing device goes on for quite a while.
Yeah, it
and
does.
They extract a fair bit of tension out of this. Honestly, that part of the movie is some of the stuff I enjoyed the most, is the stuff with Vincent Price trying to puzzle out what happened.
Yeah, and I think in order to make this a movie and make it interesting, you needed to start with a dead body, or a monster or something,
right?
Because if they just started, after the framing device, when she starts confessing and she's like, "Oh yeah," and then my mad scientist husband tells me about this crazy stuff he's doing.
Right.
If you just started with him doing crazy experiments and then it ended up with her killing him by his request, it would be like, oh, that's sad. Adding the murder mystery is a little layer of tension that kind of helps it kick off.
And there is shades of Frankenstein
there,
right? Because that has a similar framing device, and it has a similar quote-unquote protagonist in this driven mad scientist rich boy character. He's very Dr. Frankenstein coded.
Yeah, and not to like bury the fly part of it. He's inventing a teleporting machine, transporter, and he ends up successfully transporting some things.
Right.
And then when he tries to transport himself, a fly flies into the chamber with him. And so that's why it gets all scrambled up.
Yeah. Because he just didn't notice it.
He didn't see the fly.
And it's hypothetically, because he has an earlier mishap where he atomizes his cat.
And that ended the movie for Carrie.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I was just like, how dare you? You put your cat, your family pet, in there as your first live test subject? You don't go and get like a lab mouse or goldfish or a bug, like a worm, and just put it in there. Just give it a shot.
Yeah.
You put your cat...
It's the absolute hubris of it is shocking, right? Because he's not had a 100% success rate up until this point. He's had some sort of like promising successes, but things were transmuted in weird ways. Like he transports a plate and the text on the plate is reversed. Like he made a mirror image of it.
Yeah.
So like he hasn't had enough success to even move to live trials. And he's just so arrogant. It's, and that's what I mean about it's very Dr. Frankenstein coded. But he lost me there as well as any sort of sympathetic character.
Yeah, and like he brings his wife down and he's telling her all about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, and blah blah blah," and then she's like, where'd the cat go?" Or whatever the cat's name goes. He goes, out into the universe.
Yeah, he's like,
it's atoms.
He goes, a string of cat atoms across space. Be almost funny if it wasn't for the sanctity of life or something like that.
Yeah, so
and it's like,
if someone's telling me, hey, I invented a teleporting machine, but I accidentally teleported your cat into atoms in space, my response would be, well, it's too bad you won't live to tell anyone about your machine. I'm burying you.
Right.
You could. Oh man, I understand John Wick.
Yeah.
And he had that puppy for a very short amount of time. I have 10 years with my cat.
The wife, and she's suitably and correctly shocked at it. But he brings her around so quickly on it.
Yeah. I don't understand how she's not mad.
She honestly never gets mad with him. She is supportive with him no matter what crazy thing he does. He locks himself in the basement for days at a time, just totally brushes her and his brother off. Is
their kid.
Neglectful of the kid. He is just like... He's mercurial. He comes and goes out of their life, and she just supports him the entire time. Even like the end of the movie where he's like, okay, you have to kill me because there's no way to reverse this. He's effectively ruining her life because she will go to jail for murdering her husband.
He'll be dead. She'll be a prisoner. Kid will go into juvie or whatever. He couldn't just be like, well, I guess I'm going to go out into the woods and never be seen again.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't just take one for the team and just leave.
No, he needs her to do it.
She has to murder him.
Yeah. He has to make her an accomplice to his crimes in the end. He is a monster before he turns himself into a monster. And it's like, the more and more of these stories that we get into, you realize what a trope this is, this sort of man who will not be stopped or listened to reason, doggedly pursuing his insane dream to do something, whether it's to sew a bunch of corpses together and make a man or to teleport himself across the room. Like, this just happens over and over again. Terrible man with unlimited resources creates abomination through abuse of science.
So in the original short story,
by George Langeland, is that the author's
I think
name?
so. Yeah. Helene, the wife, at the end she commits suicide. So
even more tragic.
So Clavel softened that, and kind of changed it. What do you think about that? Do you think that it would have worked better as a tragedy, or more so as well? Now I'm with his brother. The brother swoops. He's like new dad.
Takes over the family.
Yeah.
Well, the brother is the better dad. That's clear.
That's true.
And will be the better husband, despite probably being gay. I think we can. It's maybe just the impression I get from Vincent Price. He's a committed bachelor in his middle age. Wealthy, committed, middle-aged bachelor. Very realistic for the time period.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he definitely would be a better dad.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, though.
It is a weird ending, and it feels... It's hard to put this. It does not feel true to the story that was being told, but it does feel like a relief when it happens because I was feeling so bad for that lady. So it does sort of like that she doesn't have an epic tragic ending like it seems like you're building to through the entire movie. I was relieved, but I don't think it's great storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I also at the end I was like, well, she got off she did murder, but she got off because he was a mad scientist, and she convinced them to believe it.
Yeah, and once they saw the little mutant fly, the sheriff also believed the story finally, and so he concocted a reason for why things had happened to get her off the hook.
Yeah.
It feels very convenient and unsatisfying the way that it all comes together at the end. Like this needs to have a happy ending and a bow on it. And so they bend to the rules of the story they've been telling in order to get you there.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Another thing that I was reading that I thought was really interesting. So this is like a body horror about a guy's face being changed or whatever. George Langeland was he was a British intelligence agent during World War II who underwent extensive plastic surgery so he wouldn't be recognized behind enemy lines.
Well, this
is his own story.
That is very interesting. So he's incorporating
lived experience.
God, I guess I need to read that short story. I didn't
read it either. I just read synopsis and I read online analysis.
Okay, I'll do
shortcut
before the next episode. I'll read the short story and get a feeling for that. But that's really interesting, and it adds a layer to it that it has to do with how he views himself.
Yeah.
that he's done something to himself and no longer recognizes
Yeah,
himself.
he's no longer the same man.
Yeah.
Maybe even the tragic, he doesn't deserve to live anymore, especially since in his version, Helene dies too.
Yeah. Well, and, if he's doing, intelligence during the war, he's probably doing some skullduggery stuff.
World War II, British
Yeah.
agent against
Yeah.
the Nazis? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course he's killing dudes.
Yeah, it's there's things in the not that it is better now, not that it's perfect now, but you can attest to this. There's a system and resources. In the old days, these guys come back from the war and they're just like, well, just drink about it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
here's your pension.
Yeah,
get out of here.
They gave them no mental health resources
Absolutely.
at all. And so people were just like left to figure out for themselves what they did and how to reckon with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's and the thing is that we can look back on it and we can say like, oh yeah, we recognize it now, but they recognized it then. I mean, reading Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and a couple more George Smiley books, they really do talk about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like the scars that service leaves on you. It's they've known about it.
Yes. Forever. Yeah. All Quiet on the Western Front. I remember reading that in high school, and that's a book that has just stayed with me for my whole life. It's haunting.
Absolutely.
And it's like they go off to war as boys and like come back like shells of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just really horrific.
And so that reframes The Fly.
It does. And it adds...
It makes it more of a tragedy.
For sure. And I was thinking, the other, like, literary comparison, the obvious one is Kafka, right? Like, Metamorphosis.
Yes.
But that is more of a metaphor. Like, he imagines he's turning into a cockroach, but he's not literally probably turning into a cockroach.
Yeah.
That's just how he views himself.
I wonder how this dude, why he chose a fly.
Yeah. I think it's, I'm just assuming or guessing at this, but there's a wretchedness to a fly, and there's also association with death to a fly.
That's true.
They lay their eggs in corpses, and so it's just, and it's a despised creature. You know what I mean? It's something, like when they're trying to catch the fly, and the maid is pressed into service to catch it,
almost kills it,
and she swats the first one, and even like when she gets with the program that she's supposed to be catching them, she's still walking around with the fly swatter. Like, it just feels more natural to her to kill the fly than to try and capture it. Yeah, interesting. This does make me reconsider it, because I was kind of thinking of it as a fairly shallow story.
Well, and there's also, to add a little more to the depth, it's also kind of an interesting, almost Cold War tale, because, like the splitting of the atom, like, you have the power to do a thing, but should you do the thing? Yeah. That's sort of a big question here.
And this is definitely in that era, and it is, we get the impression that they kind of made their fortune during the war. Like, these two brothers that own this electronics company are very well to do because electronics have taken off in such a huge way. And you get that impression that this is all a result of the war. And the brother is a veteran, the one that becomes the fly.
Yeah.
And he has a scar from the war. So they're sort of war profiteers almost. And it's led to sort of a life of leisure for one of them, and the other one just unlimited resources to pursue his mad science with.
Yeah, and this definitely has that mad scientist lineage of Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and like other gothic science traditions like Island of Lost Souls, etc.
Oh yeah, because that's got your anthropomorphic animal men in it, and
so this is very gothic horror coded, even though it kind of doesn't feel gothic horror.
Yeah.
Because they're in like the suburbs. It's like a ticky-tacky house, and it's so bright. Nothing spooky.
It's not aesthetically gothic, besides having Vincent Price in it, and much of it taking place in a underground laboratory. You know, like those things, like the upstairs house is not in a gothic world, but the basement kind of is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's interesting. It is. I didn't include that in the genre because I don't think of this in. It is in the lineage, but it has moved beyond it, in my mind.
Yeah, I think that this is like inspired by gothic horror. This is like post-gothic horror.
Yes, and it's very for its time period a very modern film.
Yeah, it's definitely it's science fiction post-gothic horror.
Yeah.
Its DNA is Mary Shelley.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not a Frankenstein remake.
No, yeah, it's straddling genres there in kind of an interesting way.
Yeah, because I mean, Mary Shelley is horror and science fiction.
Yeah, it is so like the trope is like of the mad scientist is so indebted to her version of that. That. Yeah, it's
a 5 out of 5 novel if you haven't read it.
It is a great novel. It is a historical work of fiction for sure. Yeah, very interesting lineage. I think to talk a little bit about Newman's directing, I think the movie looks great. I'm really impressed with how he sets up his shots and everything. Yeah. And it was not like, I guess part of it is that I watched it on TV as a kid. So I was watching it like trimmed down to fit the square shape. So I wasn't seeing it in the CinemaScope version. It's just a much more impressive looking movie than I remembered it being in my head.
Okay. Yeah, so if we're moving on to visuals...
and that's the cinematography is by Karl Strauss.
Who is... I mean, he shared the first Academy Award for cinematography with Charles Rosher for Murnau's Sunrise.
Yeah.
So this was like...
He knows how to use a camera.
Yeah, this is a guy who is probably the most artistic dude on the lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because he also shot Jekyll and Hyde, Island of Lost Souls, Sign of the Cross, Ben-Hur. You know, it just kind of goes on.
Just a few movies you may have heard of. Yes. Yeah, so maybe we'll give the lion's share of the credit for how gorgeous the movie looks to him. Because it looks really impressive. Like, I'm a little surprised at what you said the budget was, because the movie looks like $1 million.
Yeah, it looks so good. But I guess that's what you get when you get an artist. He can do a lot with whatever he's given.
Yeah, he's just excellent at that. And then the art direction is by Theobald Holsopple and Lyle R. Wheeler. Costume design by Adele Balkin. Makeup by Ben Nye. And special photographic effects by L.B. Abbott. They built the lab with Army surplus equipment down there.
Okay,
and it was
that's cool.
Yeah, it was. I forget what the exact price tag was, but it was a reasonable amount of money for just a bunch of like technical equipment that they were able to get for a song.
I liked that it looked reasonably sci-fi. It didn't look like Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's not Victorian. It's very modern looking.
Yeah, I mean, for 1958, it looked high tech.
Yes, and I love there's a scene where Vincent Price and the sheriff character go down there to kind of inspect the lab.
Yeah,
and he's not been allowed into it for ages, and he's sort of shocked at what exists in the basement of his brother's house. And they sort of have their own houses on an estate with each other, is the impression I get.
Yeah, it's like the Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, like they can walk to each other's houses easily, and there's common space in between them. But he doesn't go in his brother's lab. No one goes in his brother's lab unless he invites them in. This is his sacred space where he does mad science.
It's private.
Yeah, stay out.
Yeah, I think that this is the movie, like you said, it just looks so good.
Yeah.
I think that the costumes looked really good. Like
Yeah.
Vincent Price looks smart in a suit.
He is a dashing gentleman. Just like he wears a suit. He knows how to wear a suit.
Yeah, and like everybody, just the costuming is just really good, and the visual effects, the practical effects for the fly, the head and arm, the claw thing.
The claw is my favorite. I like the claw even more than the head. I like how the claw is. The claw wants to hurt things. Like the claw has a mind of its own, and he has to kind of restrain it. I think that's a great detail. The head, I think they perfect the head in the Return of the Fly. I think that's a better version of the head.
Yeah.
Which you see in a lot of, like, when you look this up, you see a lot of images of Vincent Price and the Fly together, and that's from the sequel. That's not from this movie. But it is a properly creepy little fly head. When we finally see it, it's gross. You know what I mean? Like, you can see why you would not want someone to see you that way.
Yeah.
And I love when he's under he has the towel or whatever, or a sheet that he drapes over his head to hide himself. And when we witness, like, he has his wife bring him food down to his lab, but he doesn't want her to see him eating it, and you just hear the sort of gross slurping sounds as he liquefies and eats his food. It's very yucky. Like, it is, that's why it's sort of like it is a body horror movie. That this guy has become repulsive is a key part of the story, and that's when we finally do see it. I guess that's down to Ben Nye, his makeup job.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, when I saw the mask the first time, because this was my first watch of this movie, I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought, like,
the little fiddly bits that are moving all the time sell it.
Yeah, this is cutting edge for the era. I thought that this mask was pretty solid. No complaints there.
Yeah. And I like the way he I guess we'll talk more about that in the performances. I like the way he plays it as he's becoming more bestial too, and losing control of himself. You see that play out visually.
Speaking of visually, I think one of the coolest visual sequences is the kaleidoscope compound eye POV.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. That was like, it kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yes, and you've seen it. I mean, I've seen it used very recently, and I'll bring that up when we get to our Vault of Darkness. But that's a shot that's been homaged so many times to where you don't know what the source was.
Yeah.
So getting kind of back to it, I always like when we kind of find those iconic images where they originate from. It's always something like a eureka moment. Like, oh, it's from here. This is where this all kind of starts.
All these cinema nerds.
Yeah, this is what everyone has been homaging this over and over again. That stuff's really cool.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else on visuals, or we want to move to audio?
Let's go on to the audio. Music by Paul Sawtell and sound design by Eugene Grossman and Harry M. Leonard. I mentioned the gross slurping sounds that the fly makes. There's the buzzing of the fly, the help me. There's some pretty iconic sound in this, like very good sound design for the time period, especially.
Yeah, and I was actually I was surprised at the score because it leaned in on a full orchestral, almost romantic score rather than the theremin and strings kind of space age thing dominating 50s sci-fi.
Yeah, that's true.
This definitely felt like a gothic horror soundtrack, not a sci-fi soundtrack.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, and it is one of those ways that it's got one foot in both worlds there.
Yeah,
I think Sawtell's score, it kind of runs the gamut because, like, you're right, it has these very romantic movements in it. It's got some very playful moments, you know, with that probably soundtrack the little boy, and his running around catching bugs and doing kid stuff,
playing Pokemon,
IRL, not a phone in sight. That's how you used to actually have to go catch your Pokemon.
There's literal monsters.
He's like, there's a bullfrog, and you caught it and kept it in a bucket in the garage till it died,
and then it died. And then it stunk.
Oh, R.I.P. that bullfrog. But, it really covers a wide range, and it's not a ton of music, but it has a lot of moods to it. A lot of different tones.
This is the sound design is good. It feels like there's a lot of Foley work going on in this, and it's a little over the top.
You think? Okay.
The most over the top is the reedy voice of the fly, though.
Oh,
that's a choice.
With the help me fly. Yes. It is not how I remembered it. It is much more annoying sounding.
And
my mind has softened that over the years to something creepier and less annoying.
The cinematographer Carl Struss is on record saying that scene is, quote, just plain ridiculous, quote.
Well, I mean, there is a big spider puppet, and I'm trying to think. It's not a model. Like, there's a real person's head that I think that they're rear projecting into probably a blank spot on it. Because it's not synced up in a great way. The way I remember it is so much creepier than the way it actually appears in the movie.
It's a little cheese.
But some of the other sounds, the ghostly cat sound after he atomizes his cat and it doesn't rematerialize, that's fairly haunting. Like, it's very like because I meant to mention this earlier. Similar to how there's a fly in the contraption when he teleports himself and it causes fuckery, there he puts the cat and a bowl of milk in the thing at the same time. And then the bowl of milk rematerializes, but the cat doesn't. And you just have this ghostly meow because the cat has been atomized and never rematerialized, but it's just like a ghost in the room. Like, it's very creepy, and I think the way they do it is really effective.
A ghost meow. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, and and it lets you know how unhinged this guy is. That he's frustrated but undaunted by this, and it doesn't stop him from going.
Damn
forward.
it, Fluffy.
Yeah, he's like, why didn't this work? Oh well, I'll do a few more newspapers, and then it's back to live test.
Yeah, where's that guinea pig?
Yeah. God, this guy's the worst. Which maybe we're transitioning into performances, so we can actually talk about these people.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about David Hedison, also known as Al Hedison, as Andre Delambre. Just a real asshole, bad husband, unethical scientist. Unrepentant until he harms himself. I'm not saying it's a bad performance. I think it's actually probably a very good performance. But he's just a very hateable man, in my opinion.
Yeah, this guy, this was only his second film role after The Enemy Below, which I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And he does a fine job playing kind of a manic mad scientist guy, but he actually goes on to greater things, and he plays Captain Lee Crane in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, yeah, that's classic.
And he also plays character Felix Leiter in two famous Bond films, Live and Let Die and License to Kill. So, he kind of goes on and makes a name for himself.
Yeah. He straddles two different Bonds. That's not a lot of people do that, where they cross over between one era of Bond to another one.
Yeah, 73 and then 89. But yeah, that character was just unlikable as hell.
Yeah.
And I hope that was his intention.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, well...
I do sometimes think in these stories that we're coming at it with a modern lens, and we have higher expectations for how people treat their families now, and that I don't know that he came off as much of an asshole in 1958 as he does to us now in 2026.
Yeah, he was just an enterprising scientist.
Yeah, like there's a lot of, this is several years before kind of the launch of Marvel Comics, but I see a lot of like Reed Richards and Sue Richards in this portrayal of a husband scientist and his dedicated wife. A lot of those early superheroes are, kind of one bad day or not even like, you might turn yourself into a Hulk or something like that.
Or turn your friend into a rock monster.
Yeah, he is just one shade away from being a Marvel hero. And
true.
He sort of seems like
the Fly could have been a Marvel hero.
Yeah, if he'd only had a better, more of a sense of
buzzy wings,
of like personal, like civic responsibility.
Yeah, he goes and solves crimes.
Yeah, instead he's like, I just have to have my wife murder me and ruin her life.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't have that Uncle Ben telling him about his great power and responsibility.
Yeah.
He just bungles that whole thing. But yeah, I do wonder if we're supposed to be more sympathetic to him than I feel watching him. And it's just our modern perspective.
Oh, I think so. I think that we are modern men of a woke era where you're not allowed to, or it is not acceptable for you to drag everyone down with you and make everyone serve your needs. Like, that's just not done in the modern day.
Yeah. So there's a point where he has turned himself into the Fly, but he has not revealed this to anyone yet. And he's supposed to have a lunch date with his wife and his brother. And this is kind of the only time Vincent Price shows up in the central story of the movie.
Yeah.
And they come down to the lab, and there's basically a fuck off, I'm busy note on the door. And they have a big laugh about it. Like, well, I guess we're eating lunch without him, when IRL, especially if there's a pattern of this going on, you would be upset by it.
Yeah.
And you would knock on the door and be like, what the hell? Take a break and come out.
Yeah.
I walked across the courtyard of our lavish estate to come have lunch with you, you dick.
Exactly.
Why don't you come up here?
Or you go to the breaker box and turn them all off. Now what are you going to do? It's dark in there.
Yeah. Experiment canceled. And he's like, you just vaporized another cat. And he's like, what
another cat?
What are you doing in there? None of your business. Now turn the power back on. Yeah, it's... he comes off like such a prick, and I don't think that's intentional. Although I do think it is because of his performance. I just think our standards have changed. Moving on, Patricia Owens as Helen Delambre,
who's the actual lead of the movie.
Yes, she is the anchor through the entire thing, and dedicated wife. Will put up with anything, and has a very yes and personality where she's like, all right, if I have to do that to support you, that's what I'll do. It's an interesting performance with a lot of pathos in it.
She really, like, the film kind of rests on her reactions to things.
Yeah.
Because she's like the surrogate for the audience,
right,
to his mad science. And so she really has to deliver that performance so that it sells how crazy and horrific or whatever.
Yeah, because there's a whole stretch where she is pretending to be mentally ill and to not know who her son is, and and be kind of in like a fugue state or something. You know what I mean? Where
she thinks that it's better that she goes to a mental hospital than get locked away.
Yeah. Which I guess, I mean, they're probably not all that different from each other in a lot of ways.
Well, I guess it depends on how much money you have.
That's true. They're very wealthy, and it's Canada where they have free healthcare.
Yeah, she'd be fine.
She'd be great either in jail or in the mental institution. No, I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure Canadian jails are horrible too. Jail's awful everywhere. But it's an interesting performance. I don't know why I'm stopping short of saying it's good, because it's so affected. Like it's not natural. It's a performance. It suits the movie, but it's like it doesn't feel like any real person I've ever encountered. Like no one reacts to life the way this woman does. Yeah,
the performance feels canned, and it feels very directed. It's not naturalistic at all.
Yeah. Maybe that suits the movie, but it's just odd. I just find it odd. It's not uncompelling, though, because like you said, she does carry the whole movie, and she's not hard to watch. It's just such a strange performance to me.
Well, I mean, I think it's telling that she never had another big role.
Really? Okay.
She moved on to television and then guest spots and things. She never had a big hit.
This did not start a big movie career.
No, like, well, she had a role in a Brando film before this, and that was her first, and then this happened, and then she never worked again as far as starring. She didn't do big roles after this. So I guess that's just how it goes.
Didn't set the world on fire with this. But someone did, and that's the next person on my list.
Vincent Price.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's really good.
The camera loves him. I love him. Like when he shows up, he is on another level over everyone else in sort of like effort and ability, it seems like.
Yeah.
He elevates everything that he's in, and like if she's the anchor, but he's the engine of the scenes that they share with each other. Like he drives them along. And he's just so much fun to watch. Like when he goes away for the whole middle part of the movie, like my interest in the movie drops off precipitously.
Yeah. So like Vincent Price has what you call it.
Yes.
He comes on stage, and it's like when Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee comes on the stage. You're just like, oh, I gotta watch this guy.
Yeah.
He has charisma, he has star power, and his performance, he's not like over the top in this role.
No, this is not him chewing the scenery.
Yeah, he's subdued, but he's still a movie star.
Yeah.
Like, and like you said, the middle portion where he's kind of not in it, I'm kind of like, yawn.
Yeah.
Move on.
You told me this was The Fly starring Vincent Price. That's what the poster says, right?
I need more Vincent Price.
Starring Vincent Price. More Fly, more Vincent Price.
Absolutely.
You know, like that's what I came here for, and I'm super stoked to see these things together. Like I want to. He never interacts with the Fly. At no point in the movie are the ostensible star of the movie and the creature of the movie on screen together ever. Seems like a very weird choice to make.
Yeah, it's The Fly with Vincent Price, and then the middle of the movie, no Fly, no Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Or maybe a boy chasing a fly, but not like the fly.
Yeah, not the fly, a fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, tangent. You said more Fly, more Vincent Price. You want what the poster said. If anybody watches John Oliver at all, recently on one of his episodes, he covered this weird, it's weird to me, but it's a cool artistic trend that occurred in, I believe it was Ghana.
Okay.
Where they basically had to bootleg movies there,
the movie posters,
and so they hired local artists to make movie posters, and so in order to get people to come and pay for the movies, they would zazz up the posters.
Yes.
And some of them got to the point where they were redonkulous, like stuff that was never in the movie, like monsters, crazy violence. They just became over the top insane. And so like people would go and watch a movie, like, why was there a dragon and like a sword fight on the poster, and there's none of that in the movie? Well, those actors were in movies like that. We thought, and so that's what I thought. I felt bait and switched.
There is a little bit of that, and to piggyback off your tangent, because those are hand painted by real artists in the developing world. Those paintings are fairly affordable if you like. There's a website and you can buy from those artists. And they're not like, it's several $100s, but it is a large size, like the size of a movie one sheet, hand painted.
And they're sick.
And they are really cool. Like, they might get kind of classified as naive art. Like, they're not like, some of the fundamentals aren't the strongest in them. But they're made with a lot of passion and energy.
Yeah, the personalities there.
Yes, they have a ton of personality. And for like a civilian art collector, they're accessible and pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes because if we can send any business there.
Yeah, I hope I didn't get the country wrong, but it's definitely.
I do think it's Ghana. But
if you John Oliver did a whole thing on there on them, and he commissioned one of the artists to do a John Oliver poster in that style, and it was awesome.
Yeah, there's a few I have my eye on the website, and it's just like
post that website. I'll go check some out.
Drop $800 on a hand painted Godzilla poster or something.
Man, if there was like a vampire one, I'd be very tempted.
Oh, I'm sure there is, and you can get prints if you don't. But it's like it's one of those things, to go in a whole tangent about this. It's very like paintings are generally unaffordable for the average person.
Yeah.
And these are kind of in that realm that a normal person could splurge on this. And it's a splurge for a normal person, but it is achievable. Unlike, I don't know, like a Warhol or some sort of like a famous artist who you will never get to afford to buy one of those.
I want a Banksy.
Yeah. You have to chip it off the wall right after he does it. Okay, back to our cast. Who do you?
Everybody else is also ran, but we got Herbert Marshall as Inspector Charas.
Yeah,
he's fine. He does a good job. He's a convincing. He's a convincing Hitchcock cop because he was a Hitchcock cop.
Yeah, I like him. He's very understanding and really wants this lady to come up with a decent alibi. And gives her all the time in the world to give him a reasonable explanation for why she killed her husband.
I want to give a shout out to Herbert Marshall. He's a disabled veteran from World War I. Okay. I'm a disabled veteran, so you didn't even know he had a prosthetic the whole time.
Wow!
And he basically did his whole career just acting with one leg.
Well, I like his performance quite a bit, and I like Charles Herbert as Felipe Delombre, the little boy.
Yeah,
he's pretty damn adorable.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah, he's in Muppet Zone. Like, he's very much a very cute child.
There's not much acting going on.
No, and he's like he adapts to living with his uncle from living with his parents very easily.
I'm assuming that his uncle, through his life, gave him more attention than his dad.
That's actually probably very true. So, like,
he probably was like, I can always go and talk to my Uncle Francois.
Yeah. I already stay over there more than my parents even notice.
Yeah.
So.
Or like Francois calls. He's like, oh yeah, little Philippe's over here. No big deal. They're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I thought the kid was really good, and the inspector both were good performances. God, we're almost out of people
Kathleen
to even
Freeman,
mention.
the housekeeper who
Emma.
Almost kills the fly.
Yeah, she's a fun performance. She just thinks these rich people are crazy, and
They kind of are.
They are, and she's she's absolutely, she's one of those, like, she's in the real world and everyone around her is in a fantasy world. And I like, you need some characters like that she's just like, you know, they pay me and she says, give me a bowl of milk with some bourbon in it. I'm going to take it down to the basement. And I don't ask questions. I just do it, you know, and clean up afterwards. So yeah, I thought she was a really fun performance too. Shall we get to our wrap up?
Yeah.
What's your personal highlight?
I mean, I think it has to be the unmasking scene where Andres is at his desk and he's got the black hood and, you know, her hands trembling and then she pulls the fabric off and it cuts to the fly's POV with the kaleidoscope eyes, and then it cuts back to her and she's like mouth open. It's a scene. It's an iconic scene. It is. Yeah. It's just like one of the only memorable scenes in the movie, and it's so far into the movie. It is. This is Curse of the Werewolf all over again. Yeah, where the whole movie is waiting to get to the stuff you want, and then it's over. There's almost no werewolf in Curse of the Werewolf. Almost no fly in The Fly. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Don't get fooled again. As a great man once said. Yeah, actually, a very functional president by comparison. Yeah, you know, our standards have gone way down. We'd take him back. I never thought I'd say, give me Bushy again. Where are you, Jeb? Low energy Jeb. Come and save us. Yo, yeah, low energy Jeb's even smarter than his brother. Yeah. So I agree with you. That's like the only scene. That's the highlight scene. My sort of runner up is anytime Vincent Price is on the screen. I think he's great. But yes, the reveal, it kind of evokes Curse of Frankenstein when they pull the bandages off Christopher Lee's Frankenstein monster. Yeah. It doesn't do the frame rate shift, but there's something similar in the way it's staged. And it's just a very iconic moment in the movie. What worked for you? I think so. At first, I didn't like the mystery framing, but the more I thought about it, I don't think this story survives without it. Yeah. So I'm gonna say I like the mystery structure. Okay. With the reveal, I ultimately think that this movie only really works because of the strong performance of Patricia Owens and Vincent Price. Yeah. Everything else, I'm not enthusiastic about. The CinemaScope color, it looks awesome. Yeah. Like, this movie looks amazing. The cinematography, fantastic. Yeah. I think that this movie looked really good, and it was lit really well. It was elevated from a B picture creature feature into something more than that. Right. What about you? What were for you? Similar. Yes. Vincent Price is my number one. I think he's great. The camera loves him. The movie comes alive when he's on screen. Number two, the visuals. It looks, fantastic in CinemaScope, widescreen. It's just a gorgeous looking movie. And I think the body horror and the tension that is built around it is really effective. Like, once we start getting into the room with the fly and start building up to when we're finally going to reveal him, and just the sense of dread that there's something awful underneath that sheet, is really effective to me. And you get the kind of the one early reveal of the claw. The claw comes out of his pocket and then he stuffs it back in real quick, and you're just like, oh, he's a monster under there, and I can't wait to see it, and you start building tension. And I think that tension is one of the things that works best in the movie. What didn't work for you? The whole middle of the movie. Yes. Meh. Also, the mad science of it all was even preposterous by 1950s standards. Yeah. And then they had the gall to make us sit through a long-winded ethics of science speech by this guy.
the completely unethical scientist.
Yeah. I thought that the help me climax was... It's not for me.
Yeah.
Some people may have loved it, and I'm not going to say it's terrible because it's obviously endured, and it didn't endure in like a The Room sort of Tommy Wiseau we're making fun of it way. People genuinely like it, but it's not for me.
Yeah. It is of its time.
Yeah, it's also not scary. The fly mask, not scary at all.
No.
It's kind of a rubber prop. Meh. And then lastly, I would say Vincent Price is underutilized.
Yeah.
His talent is wasted by omitting him from Act 2. He was top bill, and he should have had more.
Yeah.
What about you? What didn't work?
My first on my list is just that, none of Vincent Price. He's totally the lead of the beginning and the end of the movie, and it's just absent from the middle, and so it feels starless in the middle portion of the movie, and that's the bulk of the movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's even though it kind of comes back to life when he comes back into it, it's really hard when you've kind of lulled your audience to sleep almost to bring them back.
Yeah.
So that just doesn't work. The framing device, you have kind of brought me around on that. It doesn't function without the framing device. So what I think I'm really criticizing there is not the structure, but the pacing of the structure and how saggy that middle portion of the movie is. The framing device could be effective if there was a compelling arc in the middle, but it's very mushy middle. And then finally, you wait so long to get the fly finally. And the phrase that you use often is the promise of the premise.
Yes.
And a lot of the times I don't necessarily agree with you, but I feel like in this movie, the promise of the premise is not fully delivered on. This is not The Fly with Vincent Price. That's not, that's what I signed up for, but that's not really what we get. More Fly, more Vincent Price. That's my request. And then I one addendum to that, and that was the protagonist loses all his sympathy when he atomizes the cat. I know we're cat weirdos, and we like cats more.
It would have been a dog too. I would have been off.
Yeah, the guinea pig even would bother me a little bit.
Yeah.
But at least, like, there's a precedent for testing on rodents.
Like you said, guinea pig is like the term for the test subject.
It is appropriate test subject material. Even it still could be sad if you vaporized one.
Yeah.
But your household pet, to just throw it in there,
your fluffy, beautiful cat.
And it was such a sweet cat too. Like, it's so nice, and the little boy loves it. And he never explains it to his family why it just disappeared. Bad move. You stop being a sympathetic protagonist when you vaporize your cat.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts and ratings.
3 stars. I thought this could have been more. Thought it could have been a 4 when I went into it, and then the opener, and I was like, oh, this is a mad scientist movie. Okay, cool. And then and then Vincent Price goes away, and then it's just like, I feel like, oh man, I feel the itch to look at my phone.
Yeah.
And so I could not give it more.
Right.
What about you?
Same. Sometimes I really want to come up with a way to justify a 4-star review. And I'm like, well, maybe, the cinematography is really great. And I start kind of like talking to myself and trying to justify it. And like, you just can't justify it when a movie is so dull for such a large stretch of it. You can't I think it squeaks away with its 3 because of its importance to the canon, and obviously it leads to a greater work later, and its iconic performances from Vincent Price, and iconic moments. So it kind of like it's important enough to warrant a 3, but I just couldn't get to the 4.
Yep, same.
Well, shall we roll the
Oh
music?
yeah, let me give you sorry.
Yeah.
Let me give you them community scores. Rotten Tomato audience score of 70%. We got Metacritic 62. We got IMDb 7.1. Letterboxd 3.4.
You're in the ballpark.
Yeah, they made it a little rich.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We don't give 3.5s. That is the most cop-out score of all scores.
I wouldn't, even if we could.
I think I would have given it a 3.
Totally honest, there's a lot of things that I like the 3.5 that it suits how I feel about a lot of movies, and this is more in the 2.75. Like this is more squeaking out a 3 for me than On the Verge of before.
Absolutely. Well, let's roll the music, and then we'll come back with the Vault of Darkness.
Before we delve into the Vault of Darkness, we ask that all initiates of the cult follow us on your favorite social media platforms at Nightshade Cult.
If you've enjoyed this content, help us grow the cult by sharing it with like-minded people and leave us a review wherever you listen.
Any dark tidings?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
A new album coming out that, as of the recording of this pod, it is almost out, but there have been 3 singles, so I have a good taste of it.
Yeah.
But when this comes out, it'll be fully out. Warning, one of the greatest doom bands of all time. This is traditional melodic doom. Patrick Walker, singer of A 40 Watt Sun. Mm-hmm. This was his original doom band. This is their first new album in 20 years. It follows up 2006's Watching from a Distance, which is considered, if not the greatest doom record of all time, one of the greatest doom records of all time. It stands the test of time. The new album by Warning is called Rituals of Shame. The 3 singles that have been released thus far are absolutely crushing.
Nice.
The music is heavy like it should be, and the vocals are sad as sad can be, because that's Patrick Walker's brand of doom. So I'm absolutely stoked for this. I'm a super fan of this guy and everything he does. And I've seen him live a couple times. Once with 40 Watt Sun, and once solo project.
Yeah,
once with him doing a tour playing the entire Watching from a Distance Warning album with the lineup of 40 Watt Sun, playing the Warning album. But yeah, this is an absolute must listen. I would even say it's approachable, because the vocals are very, very listenable, and that's what turns most people off of extreme metal.
Yeah.
And so this is a British traditional doom that I think anyone could like. Not to be confused with The Warning, that power trio rock band of 3 gals from Mexico, who are also pretty good.
When I looked on Bandcamp, there are 3 bands called Warning, but this is Warning UK.
Yeah.
Or Warning Doom is their Bandcamp handle.
Okay. And this one, this band is in my top 10 for sure. Or this guy and his various bands. So that's what I have for Dark Tidings.
Cool. Well, let's roll our dice and see who gets into the vault first.
15.
8. You go first.
Dang. Doubleheader. Okay. More music.
Okay.
I've been listening to music, and I got tickets to go see Unto Others. We've got tickets for them.
Yeah.
And so
that's a weird way to frame this, as they're not the headliners of the show. But
yeah, but they're the band I want to see.
Okay.
So I started going back and listening to all of Unto Others' music. Lots of people don't know Unto Others started off their career under a different name, Idle Hands. Mm-hmm. They ended up...
also very cool.
Yeah, they ended up having to change their name because there's some Midwest kind of like death metal band called Idle Hands that tried to take them to court, and they were just like, fuck it, we'll change our name. And I saw this band's very first show ever, and it was killer. And so I started listening to their music again to get ready for them, and I had no idea that they put out a EP with some covers on it.
Oh,
and so
that's a good EP.
Yeah, I remember Halloween EP. I don't know why I didn't know about this. They cover the Misfits and they cover the Ramones. They cover Halloween and Pet Sematary. Something about Gabriel Franco's vocals, he does that Danzig really well.
Yeah.
Like, it's super good. I also really like the Ramones cover. Like, they make it thick. They make it...
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Well, that's a... Pet Sematary is a late period Ramones. They're in their more mature, sophisticated phase at that point. But yeah, that's a great EP. I second that for sure.
Absolutely. And so one more music,
okay.
New band to me. It was recommended by the algorithm. And I was like, what in the heck is this? And I clicked on it, and it's a band called Nite, Nite. And this is an alternative band. It's how they describe themselves. And they are inspired by darkwave, synth pop, and post-punk. So a goth band.
Yeah.
This is two twin brothers, Miles and Kyle Mendez from Texas. And they work with a drummer named Phil Helm. And they make really good... dark wave music that adds kind of a modern electro pop into the vibe. Super listenable. Like, I think that anybody that likes like synth pop or dark wave or any sort of post punk would really, really like this band. I'm surprised they're not bigger than they are, honestly, because the vocals are super good. Both brothers sing. Sometimes they sing together, sometimes not. And it's just super good, really listenable. And I recommend specifically their self-titled album, Nite.
Nite.
Yeah.
So the band is called Nite. The album is called Nite.
Yeah, it's their self-titled album. I think it's 2025. It's relatively recent. I could be wrong on the year, but it's their newest one. So that's what I've got in the vault. Just some good old music. What about you?
I'm pulling a recent TV show out of the vault, and while I was watching this, I was considering it. I was like, this might be a good Vault of Darkness for The Fly specifically. And then I think it was around episode 6, it leaned in heavy to the body horror and even kind of had, I think, an homage shot to that Fly Eye View shot. Nice. And I was like, all right, it's in the bag. I have to recommend this. And that would be Spider Noir on Amazon.
That's been recommended all over the place.
It's really good. It's American neo-noir superhero series developed by Oren Uziel for MGM Plus and Prime Video, based on the Marvel Comics character Spider-Man Noir, starring Nicolas Cage. You can watch it in 2 different versions, in black and white or in what they call true hue color. I watched it in black and white, but the color actually looks very cool also, and I might do a rewatch at some point in color also. And it's a detective noir story with sort of Spider-Man flavor in it, and Nick Cage is doing the most in this and having such a blast playing this version of the character that's like a hard-boiled detective. Nice. Who has stopped being the Spider for I think he's been out of the game for about 5 years and just being a private dick. But certain things happen, a femme fatale character enters the picture and he's drawn back into that spider life. And it is just It is a gorgeous TV show. It is so beautifully shot. The cinematography is by Darren Tiernan, who shot The Penguin and Perry Mason. So both sort of noir sort of shows. And Peter Deming, who was frequent collaborator with Sam Raimi and David Lynch. He's the cinematographer of Lost Highway and I think Mulholland Drive. And he does those. There's kind of 2 flashback episodes that deal with his World War I and German scientists and the body horror stuff that I'm talking about, and he's the DP for those 2 episodes.
Is this worth breaking my I don't watch superhero stuff rule?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not tied to anything, so it's not a Marvel thing where you have to do homework.
Yeah, there's no like expanded universe that you need to know about.
It is fully its own. It's its own thing. It's not even particularly connected to the Spider-Man noir comic books.
Yeah,
it's its own storyline. It's not adapting one from the comics.
Are they going to make more of it, or is it standalone?
Everyone seems interested in it, so it's just a matter of if the powers that be at Sony and Amazon want to fork out the money for it.
Well, I mean, season. Amazon has already spent like $1 billion on Rings of Power. That they should make stuff people want to see.
Hey, second season of Rings of Power is pretty good. I stand by season 2. Season 1, we're on the same page. I stand by season 2 of Rings of Power. I liked season 2 a lot. But you are right. Amazon throws money in the toilet. So it's probably more the Sony end of things if they want to keep pursuing this.
Nice.
And they're not sure what they just don't know what to do with Spider-Man. It's like their most profitable thing that Sony has the rights to, and they just have the hardest time knowing what'll make money. They'll be like, "What about Madam Web? Is there anything there?" No, there's nothing there. No one cares. Spider Noir, this one hits, and it's like, I don't know if we want to do another one. Anyways, it's very good. It's beautifully shot, and it's just a really fun, hard-boiled noir story with a little Marvel Comics flavor to it. And Nick Cage is just awesome in it. Like his physical performance, the sort of spider-like movements that he does and stuff, and the way he channels like Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Stewart and like actors of the time, because it's all set in 1933.
Okay, interesting.
And it's occasionally a little anachronistic, but it is very much in that Depression era. There's Hoovervilles. It's a sort of weird New York, LA hybrid, like a lot of those old noir movies they're set in New York but filmed in LA, and so they have this kind of mismatched feeling, and this has that same feeling because it is set in New York and shot in LA, just like the old movies. And it just has a very cool vibes, and it's a little bit of a slow burn at the start, but once it gets cooking, it just blows by.
That sounds really cool. We'd like to thank you for joining the Nightshade Cult.
Until we meet again, we're wishing you unpleasant dreams.